Torah.
Emet. Does anyone know what that means? No. It means Moshe is true and his Torah is true. And here's how it goes. It's very simple. Hold on, I need someone to just, who could do boom boom like simple? Simple. Boom boom. All right, there you go. 5, 6, 7, 8. Moshe Emet.
I don't have my phone.
Up a note or two because y'all ain't singing in the low key, so we're gonna try it a little higher. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Moshe Moshe. Come on, Moshe.
It's Moshe's birthday.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have incredible news for you.
Right.
What if tonight was the yahrzeit of your holiest rabbi that you've ever met? Would you feel that tonight was a special night? Yeah. What if tonight was the yahrzeit, let's say, of your parent, if you haven't lost them, they should live to 120 days. What if tonight was like the yahrzeit of the most important person in your life? Would you feel that this was an important night?
Yes.
Do you know what a yahrzeit is? A yahrzeit, according to my teacher Leah, is the night where all of the light that a person brought into the world from the moment they were born until the moment they died, a yahrzeit is the day where all of that light comes flooding back into the world. My friends, I have news for you. Every once in a few years, we have 2 Adars. Right now, we're in Adar Aleph. It only happens once every few years. And there is a special birthday and yahrzeit on this night, the night of Zayin Adar. Tonight is the yahrzeit of Moshe Rabbeinu. Wow. Ow! Tonight, oh, why didn't we light a candle? We lit a few. Guys, tonight is the yahrzeit of Moshe Rabbeinu. You know what that means? That means that all of the light that Moshe brought into the world over the course of his entire life comes flooding down into the world right now. And that means we have access to that light. What light did Moshe bring into the world? Freedom. We gotta have a way quicker answer. Y'all gotta come to more shiurim. What light did Moshe bring?
Hashem.
Torah. All of the light that exists in the world that ever came into the world because of the Torah is here and available. Tonight is an auspicious night for prayer. It's an auspicious night to beg the creator of the world for whatever you want. If it's your soulmate, if it's your children, if it's your shalom bayit, if it's your finances, if it's your mental health, tonight is the night. So it's a very big night spiritually. We're very fortunate because, as I said, Moshe Rabbeinu's yahrzeit falls out in Adar Aleph. So most years we really do not have a time to celebrate Moshe's life. This year, on this very night in history, that's what's up.
Wow.
Oh. Yeah, serious. Oh. Guys, those of you who've been to my shiur know I pretend that this goes for an hour. We won't make it like last week, please God, but it's very informal, okay? So stay as long as you want to stay, leave when you want to leave. After the shiur, we have a great after party, but you know, whatever. And we have a lot of thank yous to start off. So hi Hashem, I'm so touched by everybody that helped and came. Thank you Hashem. I can't say enough thank yous Hashem. Just please make it flow proper. Let it touch our hearts Hashem. Let everyone leave with something they can hold on to. Amen.
Amen.
We also want to wish a happy birthday to Danya Nisan, a mazel tov to Yosefine Adira. There's so many people on the Facebook world that are also with us, and I just want to congratulate them. We also, the Vanshanaz family, I think they might be, there's John. John and I, we also went to high school together, but in adjacent high school, but we always knew John as Smiley. So that still continues 20 years later. If you're looking for your host, it's the guy with the biggest smile, and his wife is the most beautiful woman walking around. So we thank them tremendously. And I always ask the host who they want to dedicate it to, and so John actually worked with my mom, and so we're part of in Shalhevet High School. So tonight is again for the Aliyat Neshama of my mama, Shoshana Bar Ariel, and also the community experienced a tragic loss, and we lost. Ribono Shel Olam decided that it was time for a woman. I didn't write it down proper, John. Liora Tova, but I'm so sorry. I had it in my notes and then I didn't bring it. So a woman in our community went up, and so we're also dedicating this to her, Aliyat Neshama. Let's get her name good. I apologize, I don't have it.
Liora Tova Bar Rachamim.
Liora Tova Bar Rachamim, especially on this night of Zayin Adar, her soul should fly higher and higher and higher. Amen. Okay, now, John, Natalie, you didn't know this, but Lisa Arnold decided also to sponsor tonight.
Oh. Wow.
And she decided to sponsor in honor of the Ravan Shanaz family. Because she said that you guys have made such an incredible difference in the lives of her children. So the host didn't even know that someone else is coming in to sponsor. And she says, so for the Aliyat Neshama of her precious son Noach Adin Ben Sheva, and for her other children that you've had a tremendous impact on, Shana Yadin and Gigi, they should have awesome everything blessed. And Randy Mitchell, thank you so much. You, your offspring, everybody should be blessed with generosity, with abundance of income and everything good. And finally, I have to thank my team. They're not my team, they're just a bunch of people that are just spectacular. Tamar hooks us up every week beyond belief. Daniela hooks us up beyond belief every week. Anna, where are you? Hooks us up every week. Oh, you're right there. Beyond belief. Rivka, where are you? She's somewhere. Like every week, like guys, if you wonder like how the food arrives and like who sponsors it sometimes, it's these people. So like, you know, they quietly like schlep in drums and things and everything. So wow, thank you so much. Okay, and we said happy birthday, Moshe Rabbeinu. Context, Parshat.
Tetzaveh.
Parshat.
Tetzaveh.
7 more times. Parshat.
Tetzaveh.
You're gonna forget it. Sticky, what's the Parshat? You see, everyone's too shy. Here we go. It's Parshat.
Tetzaveh.
Or Tetzaveh. It's okay to pronounce it either way, but if we don't say it 20 times, we forget by tomorrow. True?
True.
Alright. Okay, so context. Yes.
What does Tetzaveh mean?
Oh, Tetzaveh. You know, actually. What does Tetzaveh sound like? What word in Hebrew is Tetzaveh? Mitzvah. Something mitzvah. Mitzvah. What's a mitzvah? A commandment. Tetzaveh. It's a commandment. He's actually, we're not going to focus on this part, but there's a commandment to bring pure olive oil in the Mishkan. So this is the context. The context, raise your hand if you were with us last week. Who was with us last week? We were building the
Mishkan.
The Mishkan is a...
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
I feel like this is a pop
The
quiz.
Mishkan was like this epic desert tent made of unicorn skins. Unbelievable. We had a tent in the desert, and the Torah actually said that it was made out of unicorn skins. Oh my gosh, it's true. So we had this epic tent in the desert that traveled with us from Egypt, from Mount Sinai, all the way until we got to... Where were we going from Mount Sinai? Israel, yeah. This tent traveled with us all the way from Mount Sinai into Israel, continued with us, sat in a few different locations, and eventually became the most important building in the world, also known as the Beit HaMikdash, the temple, okay? So the context is that we're in the part of the Bible where we are discussing how to make the Mishkan, okay? If you don't know what the Mishkan is, go back and watch last week's show. And if you're cold, I know I say this 20 times, but there's hand warmers, and if anyone wants, there's more in the pretty little basket. Okay, so now, just a few weeks ago, we were at
Mount
Sinai.
Mount Sinai. What happened at Mount Sinai? We got the
Torah.
And the Torah instructs us to create this tent, this sanctuary, so we can all go there to worship, to atone, to get closer to God. Fine. So now, there's a deal. When you go to your temple, let's say you go to shul, and you're like, Shabbat Shalom, or in my favorite Farsi, Shabbat Shalom. I didn't know that was going to be so well received. Then if you go to shul, now what do? You just like walk up to the bima Psek and you're like, Baruch et Hashem HaMborach. Do you get up there and do that?
No.
Do you get up there and be like, hold up, wait a minute, I got some good Torah to drop. Okay, everybody, listen, here's my bar. Do you get up and do that?
No.
It's not yours, so whose is it? Who's supposed to do that job? The rabbis, right? So if now in your current sanctuary or your temple or your shul there's a rabbi, what do you think there was back then?
A Cohen
A
Gadol.
Kohen, perfectly. They were Kohanim, and the Kohanim were the priests. And the Kohanim, they knew how to do all the different things so that you didn't have to go up there and lead Aleinu. Vani, if I called you right now and I said, come lead Aleinu, are you comfortable?
Absolutely not.
Heck no. Is anyone else really, besides me, dying to lead? Call me Dre.
Just you.
Just me, cool. I knew I was different. So how about you, young man? Are you like ready to get up at your synagogue and just take over? Oh! You know, he's not a Cohen. All right. Well, someone's ready. Shmulke, are you ready to do it? Oh, you a Cohen? All right. Well, they're ready. That's great. So, but the thing is, I'm just giving you context. We're at Har
Sinai.
Learning about the
Mishkan.
Mishkan, right? We were learning the Torah about how to create the Mishkan. And in this week, the focus is what about the leaders of the Mishkan? Who are they? What are they supposed to look like? What are they supposed to do? And most importantly, because we're in LA, what are they going to wear? Oh my God. True story, 100%. This week is a fashion show. When I used to work in the seminary system, we would create a whole evening fashion show so that all the Kohanim could model their epic gear. And that's how we learned about the 8 different garments that the Cohen Gadol, the high priest, and I don't mean in the LA way.
I thought the Kohanim were lit up.
Right, you know. So the high priest had 8 garments. Okay, so the context is we're still sitting at
Har Sinai.
We're at Har Sinai, and we're learning about the
Mishkan.
And in the Mishkan, the leaders are the
Kohanim.
And this week is about what's it?
Fashion.
Fashion. I tried my best. Oh well.
Killed it.
Nailed it.
I nailed it, Baruch Hashem. Okay, so literally the rest of this class, we're going to talk about the Kohen's outfits. Now you should say, Nili, you misled me. You told me I was coming to learn about frequencies and crystals and vibrations. Why are you telling me that this is about the outfit of the Cohen Gadol?
The breastplate.
Do you guys like this whole circle thing? I'm having the best time. It's great. This is so much better than having to stand in front of that circle light.
We're in the circle now.
It's not so good for the double chin, but you know.
Double check.
Okay, so here's my question. Why did I tell you that we're going to learn all about crystals? I made everyone bring their crystals. If you come look over here, there's amazing crystals. If you look over here, there's some beautiful crystals from Madison's family. Why? Somebody connect for me. What do you mean we're talking about closed crystals? Closed crystals. Which one is it?
Both.
Say more.
Potion.
Oh, okay, we have some Hebrew speakers, and the rest of you are going, why are they all going, everyone's like sneezing, Hoshen. Okay, so the reason that the religious people in the crowd are shouting Hoshen is because Hoshen Mishpat is this unbelievable, earth-shattering, that people would actually like tremble in fear when they saw such things, and it's recorded in the Gemara even that there was an account of kings from other lands seeing the Cohen Gadol in a vision in their dreams, and it made them tremble because this Choshen was so unbelievable. So Choshen Mishpat is another word of saying breastplate. The high Cohen wore a spectacular breastplate, and on this breastplate there were
Stone.
stones, crystals, gems. So tonight we're going to spend the next while learning about, like we said, the metaphysics, the quantum physics, the psychology, and the Torahs around these crystals. And we're going to see how the breastplate, learning what the purpose of the breastplate was, will also help you find your answer to your purpose in life. It's a big challenge. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Woo! Okay, guys, those of you who have been here, where the heck is my enthusiasm?
You got this.
Shoot! I know I got this. I want you to get this.
Sound bath, like
just want the whoops, you know. Whoop, whoop. Okay. So it says here in my notes that the garments of the high priest possessed great spiritual energy and influence, and with these he was actually able to heal the people around them. Wouldn't it be cool if you just like kind of walk through the world and you like put this quartz on your chest and you're like, I shall heal you. It would be cool. It would be cool if it was true. So this was true. So let's find out. Let's find out what was going on. Alright, here we go. So this breastplate, it served as like, you know how they always have those tales of genies with crystal balls?
Yeah.
People with crystal balls, oh, I could tell the future, oh, I could. So that doesn't come from nowhere. Because crystal balls, specifically quartz, has a tremendous ability to communicate, believe it or not, our thoughts and emotions through the crystal. The crystal processes it and can have a significant effect on your body. Now, for those of you that were here during the sound bath, who felt resonance vibration in their body? For those of you on Facebook, we had a sound bath to open the class. And the sound bath, when she was like putting the wand on the bowls, it actually, right? I'm not incorrect. It did something in the body. We all felt it, right?
Yes.
Well, what are those bowls made of?
Crystal.
Those bowls were made of crystal.
Wow.
We're going to find out more in a moment. So now, here's how the breastplate works, okay? And again, if anyone's cold, please, there's hand warmers and blankets around. If anyone's not using, you could pass them. The breastplate was like an envelope, okay? So everyone sees the Cohen was essentially wearing an envelope, yeah? And the crystals were on the front, okay? Now, it wasn't that the crystals themselves were magical, but there was something pretty magical in the envelope. Does anyone know what it was?
God's name.
Yeah, yeah. The Urim, the Tumim, very good. And the Urim, the Tumim, it's either one piece of parchment or two pieces of parchment. But on this parchment, and of course there's debate which letter name of God it was, but on this parchment it was either the 42-letter name of God, the 72-letter name of God, but these are what's called ineffable. In other words, we do not know how to pronounce them today. Anyone want to try? I was so in a previous lifetime, in this lifetime, I spent most of the last decade of my life doing work with lost tribes around the world, and I did field research in northern Ghana in a tribe in the area called Febuary. And in this tribe in Ghana, one of the ways that they claim their heritage of having come down in the exile all the way to Ethiopia and then across through Mali and settling into Ghana, one of the traditions they never lost is how to pronounce this ineffable name. Wow. So I did not ask because I don't think it would be appropriate for my ears to hear such a thing, but the tribe does carry the tradition that they do know how to pronounce the ineffable name. Wow. Ooh. Wow. This was, let's say, 10 years ago, right, around. So in 2010, they've been carrying this tradition for thousands and thousands of years, and this is the tradition that is in what's called the, let's say it together, the Urim and Tumim.
Urim and Tumim.
Yeah, Urim Vetumim. Okay, and the Urim Vetumim was a piece of what?
Parchment.
Parchment, and it had on it what?
Name of God.
I don't do this for my fun. I do this because if I don't repeat things, I don't retain them, and I want you to be able to go home and say that we're in Parshat Tetzaveh. And the context is we were at Har, learning about the stabbing, and the leaders who were the and what they were going to
Where?
and this famous breastplate called the Choshen. The Choshen, and the Choshen had the crystals. You did good, guys. I'm impressed. Okay. Okay, so that's the crystals, and the behind the crystals it was like an envelope, and in the envelope was the Urim Tumim, which had on it the name of God. Very good. Now Urim Tumim for advanced learners. Urim comes from the Hebrew word or. Very good. And Tumim comes from the Hebrew word tam, pure, complete, whole. So this was the light and the let's say like holistic energy of God channeling through this original divine oracle. So did anyone learn anything new so far?
Yes.
Great. You think it's easy to stand up in front of everybody. It's not.
You make it look
your smiles
easy.
and your laughter and your cartwheels and everything that you can give to me to help
cartwheel, I'm
contribute,
sure.
okay? Woo! All right, sweet. So now we learned about the Urim Vetumim. Okay, so here's the thing. Did anyone, when they were a kid, besides me, do this totally unhalachic thing called play with a Ouija board?
Oh yeah.
Raise your hand if you're on a Ouija board. Raise your hand if you're like in your 20s and you're like, what the heck is she talking about? Okay, I called it Ouija, but I think it's called Ouija.
Ouija.
No, Ouija.
You don't know what it's like.
Ouija.
A Ouija board, fine.
Ouija.
So a Ouija board was this really
Yeah, you know.
creepy game that you used to play as a kid, right? And what do? We put our hands on it. It was like this little like crystal ball mechanism. And then there were like letters on the board and you'd ask a question like, does Daniel like me? Sorry, Daniel's girlfriend, it's just a joke. It's just high school, you know. Oh, or maybe you're not the girlfriend, I don't know, blah, 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 blah.
You asked the crystal.
Awkward moments. I always do awkward moments for your entertainment. Does Lonnie like me, okay? And then we'd all put our hands on the board, and what would we do? Did you guys ever play Ouija?
Someone pushed it.
Did you guys ever play Ouija?
Yes.
Yes.
No, you didn't have this. Someone always pushed it. Okay. Small kids, did they have this for your friends? You didn't do it, but you were halachic. I didn't know. So you put your hands on the board, and then you have like 3 friends around the board, and inevitably someone starts to move it in the direction of yes, right? does the boy that I don't like have a crush on me, and someone moves it towards no somehow, right? And it spells out, and it's the creepiest thing, right? As a kid, and it like spells out the answers. So you guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
Yes.
You ask it its name.
Say what was the question?
That's crazy. Should we try?
No, so apparently you can't try now because I learned it's not halachic. But it's a real bummer because it was so fun. It's just like bars on Saturdays. Ouija board was epic. Oh well. Say what? Jeans were so good. Where have they gone? Anyways, what can you do? Yeah, Ouija boards are out. Don't do them.
Does that mean we're not allowed to use a pendulum either?
Pendulum is questionable. You could do a pendulum with a halacha. We'll talk about that later. From what I know. So here's the thing. The Choshen Mishpat, these crystals, were much like the Ouija board. And what would happen is that the Cohen, and it's arguable exactly how the ceremony happened, but the Cohen Gadol would essentially approach the Kodesh, the area of the Mishkan that was very holy, and somebody in the community, it had to be someone very important. It wasn't like your average Joe could just come up and like crystal manipulate. But he would approach the Cohen, and the Cohen would meditate on the divine names of God, and all of a sudden, the craziest thing would happen. The letters that were engraved onto the crystals would start to light up. Did you guys know this?
No, that's crazy.
Yeah. And so the letters would light up, and it would be like, who should I spend my weekend with? And it would be like, Ma, Di, Snow, and I'd have to like rearrange it to match sun, right? So the letters did not shine in perfect order, but they did shine to reveal the answer, and this is how it was serving as the first divine oracle. This is how we got questions of, should I go to war with the Plishtim, or should we acquire this territory? You would approach the Cohen Gadol, and it was like the original computer, the divine oracle. He'd meditate, and then beep, 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 and then like the crystals would start to glow.
Wow.
Right? Wouldn't that be so much easier today? Should I marry him or not? Oh well, we'll have to get the third temple going tonight. But you know. Okay, so now the crystals, they had on them the names of the tribe. And by the way, just as a fun fact, could we take like a dental instrument and like etch the different names into the crystals? How do we etch the names? Were there like fine mason people who could divinely carve into these precious crystals? Who did it? Who had the job?
The worm.
I heard someone say a worm.
No, just the tablets.
You are correct.
We did.
Yeah, baby, yeah. It was a worm.
Did she get a prize?
Yeah, she gets a prize. But
I'm upset.
oh my God, does she? Okay, hold
Give her
on.
a
You want the prize right now?
I don't know. Should we hold off?
Tell me, is this the right time for the prize?
I think that's a prize right there.
Okay, well, if this is time for the prize, listen, for those of you who haven't been here, sometimes we pull a little Oprah. And everybody gets a prize! if you want to know why that's amazing, it's because Shannon called me and said, I want to help this week. And I said, Shannon, wouldn't it be amazing if everybody left with their own personalized crystal? And she says, I'm on it. I'm sponsoring it. I ordered the bags. And so tonight, everyone gets to go home with their own amethyst or turquoise. I hope there's enough. Well, let's see. And the amethyst or turquoise, which were both on the clochen. They were on the
Clochen.
yeah, that's what's up. So the amethyst and the turquoise were both on the clochen. These are courtesy of Shannon, and you can thank her later. I pretty much started to cry when she said she was willing to do this for us. Not only that, but the woman who did the sound bath says that the sound bath vibrations charge the crystals, so your crystals are officially lit. And you may choose the first crystal and pass to the lucky soul. Thank you, Shannon! Seriously, I never went to a shiur where they handed out a work coming out. You know what I'm saying? That's epic. Okay, so her answer was, who carved it was a... I want more parts of that.
A worm.
This word was called the shamir. Does everyone want to try to say that?
Shamir.
It sounds so Jewish, right? The shmir.
Well, you smeared
Now,
it.
this word was incredible, and I'll tell you why. I just learned today from the Zohar for the first time. I never ever saw this until today. First of all, I saw two opinions. I saw an opinion that it wasn't a worm, it was a snake, which is really crazy because of all the implications that the snake has in our Bible, especially since the gematria, the numerical value of snake, nachash, is the same value of Mashiach. That the darkest energy and the highest energy are literally numerologically one and the same.
Also kosher, no?
Choshen nachash. Whoa!
Wow! Boom, boom, boom!
Yeah.
Heads exploding everywhere.
Whoa! Vaughn, me, snaps for Vaughn.
That was
Nachash, which is maybe the shamir was a worm, maybe it was a snake, is the same shoresh, the root letters from the choshen, the breastplate. Because we learned that choshen is breastplate. Cool. Okay, now what I learned, and I'm sorry, I do have the source here, but if you're interested, please come to me and I'll tell you later. I learned today from the Kabbalah, from Rabbi Yoram Dahan, from the book Nes HaTorah, that I never knew how the worm worked. Always in my head, I imagined this tiny little worm that they threw on the stone and it like wiggled its way around, and look, it says Reuven. And it wiggled a little more to the side, and look, it says Levi. And it wiggled a little more, and all of a sudden you have the breastplate. No. I learned today from the Zohar that the way that the shamir worked is it would vibrate a crazy frequency.
Whoa.
And that the frequency of the worm that it vibrated then split the stone in exactly the way that we needed it split. Which is really crazy considering tonight's going to be all about vibration. And yes, it wasn't work. Good job. And now you know. You could tell all your friends at school. You could say, hey, you know how they cut the crystals? And you'll say, oh, wow. Okay. So now here's the thing. I said that the crystals had on them, I'm going to try to pick up my pace a little bit. The crystals had on them the names of the
Tribes.
tribes. But why the name? What is your name? Your name is your
Essence.
your essence. Your name is your purpose. Your name is your tikkun. So, for example, my name is Nili, and Nili has within it the name Netzach. Netzach means endurance, perseverance, just keep going. So yes, that's my blessing, but Lord have mercy, it's also my fixing, my challenge, right? The people that know me best are like, yo, homie, slow down, take a break, right? So the fact that I have perseverance in my name is also my greatest challenge. So everyone could think of their Hebrew name. It's not only your blessing, it's your challenge. So here's the thing. We said that people came to the Cohen Gadol, to this breastplate, this divine oracle of crystals, to figure out how they're supposed to heal. The way that it healed was because it lit up the letters in the different tribes of their specific name. I'll get into it more, it will make more sense. Now also, other things that are relevant is that the color of the crystal, why does the color have to do with anything? Why does the color of the crystal matter? Anyone know? Has anyone here ever done color therapy? Believe it or not, there's a real thing called color therapy. Because colors have vibrations. Colors have frequencies. Did you guys know this?
No. Yes.
Yes. Colors totally have frequencies. So for example, let's everyone shout out at the same time. What's your favorite color?
Green.
Okay. Well, I'll go into it just a tiny bit. For example, a very awesome secular approach to understanding colors is looking at the chakras, right? Because, for example, who said purple? Who's purple? So y'all have a tendency to go into the super conscious. Y'all are in the ether. You're in the air. You're super spiritual. Who said blue? Let's say dark blue as opposed to light blue. Who's dark blue? We need dark blue and light blue. They're different. Who's anyone here dark blue? Dark blue, your light blue, we're going to get there in a second. Dark blue is your third eye. It's your consciousness. It's your thinking. It's your processing. So those of you who have an affinity towards dark blue, either you have great consciousness or it's what you need to work on. Who said light blue? Light blue is the throat chakra. So it's an issue of, are you speaking your voice enough? Do you speak your voice at all? Right? Layla, you said yours is light blue. You're a perfect example of using it in tikkun. You know how to use your voice, your throat. Who said green? Who are my green homies? It's just us? Shoot, we're the heart center people. So the green is associated with the heart chakra. And then this is secular terminology, but it matches up perfectly with Kabbalah. Okay, so those of us that are green, it's the heart chakra. That means either our hearts are super open or super closed. You think I'm being friendly. Little do you know, I'm like, boom, boom, boom. Hi, how are you? Shut down. At least I'm admitting it. I'm trying. I'm working on it. You know? Who's got some yellow? Who's yellow? Yeah, you're yellow. So your yellow is your solar plexus. That is a lot to do with shining your light and other things that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. And orange, who is orange? Oh, that's for the Shiur where I can talk about these things. And who's red? That's the other part of the Shiur that I can't discuss, but they also have to do with passion and sexual fixation. So, I know, there's a few heads hung, I'm sorry. But the truth is that the colors really do have their own frequency and they help us heal. That's why for those of us that are green people, we love being in the forest, correct? For those of you that are blue people, I bet you enjoy being at the beach. Is that correct? Okay, interesting to note. Yellow people tend to have an inclination towards looking at fires. Is this starting to resonate with people? You see, God is very creative. He wasn't just like, oh, let's put some lavender and some pink. I'm going to go for some blue. God knew what he was doing. And he attuned to every single aspect of our universe to different frequencies because the entire purpose of the universe is not just to create a really cool LA with some awesome buildings and some Santa Anas and some mountains. Every single aspect of creation is here to help us do our fixing in this world. Yeah, what's that? Oh, black is awesome, and we're going to get there as one of the central stones on the Hosha. Nice. I'm not sure what the frequency of black is, but it is in one of the stones. Was there another question in there?
Nothing.
Say what? No, black is inclusive of all. You know what? This is a perfect time for me to state that even though I've been studying this for years, I'm mamish a beginner, and there's probably people here who know way more about crystals and color, vibration than I do. I'm like intro course 101. So this is a great kickoff because you're looking it up. Amazing. Guys, how's everyone doing? Okay, very cool. Now, I want you to also know this amazing fun fact. There's this incredible organization in Jerusalem, in the old city of Jerusalem. It's called Machon HaMikdash. Anyone ever heard of Machon HaMikdash? Machon HaMikdash is called the Temple Institute. They're so cool. Do you know what they're doing? They're preparing every single vessel that we need for the third temple, including the clothing of the Cohen Gadol. And who here is a Cohen? Do we have any Kohanim in the house? Oh, yeah, we do. The Kohanim can already buy themselves an outfit for the third temple. They're between $20,000 to $50,000, and I know people who, in my community, who the community has rallied together and already bought their local Kohen an outfit. Wow. There are many, many Kohanim in Israel that already have their outfits ready for the third temple. Wow. Yeah, and they are also working to produce the accurate choshen. They already have a sample, but it takes a lot of research because the crystallology is not a simple thing to translate between languages. So, what about the worm? That's such a good question, and you never thought about it. No, and this worm was from the 6th day of creation. It was like one of the most and I have no idea. Maybe that's why it's just a prototype. But for the rest of the Kohanim, it's hand labored with all the colors. It's unbelievable. You could look it up online. Isn't that fascinating?
Yes.
Wow. Wow. So just so you know that the Kohanim outfits, if anyone wants. Okay, so now here's my question for you. Do we actually believe in crystals? I mean, come on. Come on. Are you telling me that this little chunk of amethyst here is anything but a chunk of earth? Guys, come on, look at this. Are you telling me this is going to make me more spiritual? Raise your hand. Do you think this little amethyst is going to make me more spiritual? Yes or no?
Yes.
How about no? Skeptical. You're holding the crystals, but you're skeptical. What do you do?
I'm leaning more towards yes.
What do you think this is going to make me more spiritual? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, so I'll tell you the answer. Whoever said no is right, and whoever said yes is right. We do not believe in crystals. We believe in God, but we do believe in the healing powers of crystals. And I'll tell you why you know that I'm telling the truth. Who here got a cold and ever tried using oregano oil? Who here ever felt awake and they took chamomile tea for bed? Who could give me an example of a product from the earth that 100% works? And Ganja. Yes, ganja. Who here has ever felt anxiety and puff puff pass and then they felt a little better? Does it work? Yes or no?
Yes.
Do I believe in ganja? No. Do I believe in the Lord who created such unbelievable herbs and crystals? Yes or no?
Yes.
So yes, we don't believe in the crystals, but we do believe that God puts healing energies into the things that we have. What about oranges? Are you sick? Do you eat an orange for vitamin C? Yes or no? So what I tell you, John, you're crazy. How come you guys are giving your kids oranges when they're sick? And you'll be like, it works. Correct?
Yes.
What about honey, ginger, lemon tea? Does it work? What is your question?
So, I'm just wondering about like the energy from the crystals
Yes.
at the times of the Beit HaMikdash
Yeah.
versus now must have been very different.
That's really
So-
interesting.
I'm just
Bonnie's question was, what? Okay, hold on one second. For those that don't know, I'm so ADHD and unmedicated. So if you can keep the attention focused, it'll help me so very much. Thank you.
Amen.
I'm the first person to talk, so I feel you, dog. But stick with me. So I hope that answered your question for the skeptics, because the truth is people that are skeptical about crystals, they just forget to think that actually they do actually use herbal medicine and plant medicine in their life. We even have other plant medicines, like really sacred tribal medicines that can help you cure your traumas, right? Very seriously. Ayahuasca, ibogaine, there's so many real plant medicines that are helping people. So crystals are essentially the same. If used responsibly and properly, they can usher in healing. So, and I have another question. Raise your hand, please, if you ever walked into a room and there was bad vibes, or if someone walked into your room and there was bad vibes. You never felt bad vibes from anyone? Guys over here, participation, bad vibes? You really felt it, right? Oh, there goes that. Okay. And what about good vibes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah? Do you ever, does anyone want to tell a story? You walked into a room, you met your best friend, you just felt them, you knew it was going to be them. Does anyone have a story like this? Tell us your story, please. Loud though, for everybody.
Lauren and I knew each other since we were little kids. We went to Camp Vermont together, where we were with Rowan.
That's my mom.
And just in the past, 3 weeks? Like 3 weeks, we went kind of spontaneously on a trip together with some other mutual friends, and Lauren and I happened to drive, just the two of us in the car, and we instantly felt the good vibes.
You just felt the good vibes. So were the good vibes real, or were you like, oh no, we're just imagining this?
They were very real.
They were very real.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Ladies, thank you, amazing. So guys, tell me something. Our their vibes are real. Now we get it. After we studied a little bit of medicine, we studied a little bit, we can understand that I'm not just pulling a hippie on you, and that the truth is that vibes are real.
Yes.
Thumbs up for everyone here that at this point understands. Oh wait, we're not talking about nonsense. There must be something to that. Okay, cool. Oh, by the way, here's a really fun fact I just learned today. The University Yale. Did anyone go to Yale? You did? Oh. Call me in the back like, yeah, I went to Yale after I went to Harvard, right? No. So apparently, the founder of Yale was Jewish, and on their emblem, it says the words Urim Betumim in Hebrew. Those are those parchment. Yeah. Again, if anyone is cold, take more hand warmers, put them in your shoes. Anyone cold, please. Thank you. Just open them all up, use them for your shoes. Don't be cold, it's not worth it. All right, so what's the fun fact you're going to bring to your Shabbos table that the emblem of Yale has what on it? Great. And guys, if you're really cold, just take all the hand warmers, open them, put them in all your pockets, stick them in your shoes. It works, it's just not worth it to be cold. There's all... Okay. So guys, here's the thing. Everything. Do me a favor, everyone just look at your hand. Everyone please look at your hand. Check it out, see the line. You look at your hands. Look at your hands. Everyone's looking at your hands. So I got news for you. It looks like a hand, correct?
Yes.
But truth is, it's just vibration.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, it's just vibration. Everything in the universe, according to all science, has now revealed that the Torah has been right the whole time. It's all vibration. Who is the most famous for helping us understand this? This very famous
Einstein.
And what did he say?
Peace and love.
Guys, what did Einstein say? You guys keep moving back. I'm going to keep moving forward. You realize that, right?
E equals MC squared.
What did Einstein say? That E equals MC squared. What does that mean?
Energy equals mass times the speed of light.
I love it. We all left off science in 11th grade. We're like, energy equals mass something. Essentially, everything is energy. And so what do crystals actually do? Let's get some science in here. Crystals, they vibrate to different frequencies. And what they can do is they can help put our patterns of energy into balance. They balance our yin and our yang. Does anyone know what the yin and the yang is in the body? The yin represents the female energies and the yang represents the male. Okay, they can also help balance our acids and our alkaline. Who here is into health? Health people, health-minded people. When you study health and your body, you want to make sure that your body is in what balance? You want to be an alkaline or acid? You want to be an alkaline. That's actually why they tell you to eat spinach and kale and broccoli and blueberries, because they're high in alkaline. You don't want an acidic body. That's, God forbid, how cancers and any other disease starts to form. Okay, so crystals, they help our vibration by navigating these different energies in us. And what happens is, every crystal has a different frequency based on its composition, based on its minerals, based on its color. And when you take a crystal into your hand, some people can actually very much feel it. Let's say this is a rose quartz, right? And if this is charged, because you actually have to treat your crystals well, meaning you have to either moonbathe them or sunbathe them or take them to a mikveh. Truth? Yeah. You should see me at the mikveh. They're like, what are you doing there? My friend made me a crystal necklace and I need to immerse it in a ritual bath water. And they're like, okay, honey. So, for example, the rose quartz helps us, it's good for the heart chakra. It's opening to love and self-love. And the reason is because whatever the vibrating frequency of this thing is, it helps put my body into the perfect balance to be able to open my heart and love again. Exactly.
Amazing.
How does the sun and the ocean help charge the crystal? So apparently crystals are, I don't have good answers, like I said, I'm a beginner, but crystals are actually, they have like a proper life force in it. And I don't know why the energy of the sun and the moon and the water can do that, but it does. But yeah, these are great questions, and again, because they're the parents of the crystal. You're saying because crystals require heat. So we'll get into more. I'd love to discuss this later. Everything's from it really is from the beginning, and we'll talk about that in a quick moment. Okay. Are we starting to understand it a little better?
Yes.
Oh, okay, here's an interesting one. All right, so Rivka, this kind of contributes to it. Crystals, the living, Rivka, this one's for you. Oh, Daniela's answering. Daniela, answer out loud. Daniela worked in a crystal store. I was calling her today for advice. Or you don't have to say it. Okay. I have an idea also for you. Okay. You need to keep it loud enough. Yeah, welcome to my life, huh?
Basically, you wash the crystal of the energy that you've been putting in it. So if you're constantly using like rose quartz to fill a broken heart, or if you're constantly using amethyst to heal cancer, whatever it is, what it's actually doing is it's absorbing and transmuting the negative energy and putting it back as like light energy. And so it goes through it as like a channel. So it's kind of like when you drive your car and everyone's calling you the oil change or like the counter goes through your AC, whatever.
Beautiful.
Like doing that. So I think you're supposed to either bury it in soil because it like goes back to
That
the
I can
earth,
answer too, yeah.
or you can put it in like
Water is like a natural recharger,
fresh water.
right? Makes for
Also,
energy.
you could leave it in the sun. I think
Right,
some
in the
people
moon.
heat like
Yeah, okay. I can actually give better answers now that I thought about it. That was so helpful. Round of applause for Daniela. So one answer that I learned today is that the live element in crystals is the presence of silicon. And that, help me Hashem. Okay, so silicon is the live element, and silicon is an element in the periodic table that bonds very easily to other elements and can then somehow trigger a chemical reaction. Now what's interesting about silicon is that the Earth's core is made of silicon. And because of the amount that it bonds to other elements, it actually makes up about 80% of the Earth's core. So we're actually floating on a giant quartz crystal.
Wow.
The Earth itself is actually a giant quartz crystal floating in the center of the universe. Yeah. So that's pretty thing. Now I have a question. Let's just use this amethyst again. How old is this amethyst? Let's take guesses. How old is this amethyst?
Thousands of years.
How old? Thousands of years is a great guess. What else we got?
Billion.
Old, billion. How? Facebook Live. What do you guys think? How old is this crystal? So guys, you ready for this? Every week I try and it never goes. Alright, my friends, crystals, all crystals. Raise your hand if you've held a crystal in your life. Okay, great. Do you know that what you were holding in your hands, and this does not contradict with the Bible, because there's a way to pair evolution with the 6 days of creation. All crystals are millions of years old.
Billion.
All crystals are millions and millions of years old. So if you've ever held a crystal, what you're holding is an unbelievable fossil.
Wow.
Can I get the hand warmers go, please? I'd like to distribute some to some people.
There's one here.
Perfect.
Here's some already warm ones.
No, you guys keep those.
You want already warm?
Danielle, is that yours?
Yeah.
Warm? I did the work.
They're formed through heat, pressure, time, and water. So God is not subtle, and don't worry, this is all going to pull together. It's not just a bunch of science facts. They're formed through the elements, and they have extreme conditions. Now, let's just give you one more example of why, for example, crystals can work. So one thing that I learned from going to the crystal store yesterday, because what I did yesterday is I hopped around from crystal store to crystal store, and I interrogated all of the different sellers. And one of the women in the store Mystic Journey on Main Street explained to me that, for example, crystals that grow with the elements in the earth, certain minerals, for example, if the crystal is rich in, let's say, lithium content, much like the stone lapidolite. What is lithium? Antidepressant. Lithium is a mood stabilizer. That's why people who have, let's say, bipolar or any other variety of mood and emotional challenges might be prescribed with lithium. So when you take a crystal that's from a certain place in the universe on the earth, then this crystal, let's say if it has the mineral elements of lithium in it, it actually will calm you down. Opal is very powerful. Opal is in the breastplate. We're going to talk about it shortly. Yeah. Any of the above, by seeing it, by touching it, but each thing is different, and crystals don't work automatically. It's like if I like hate my ginger tea, if I'm so busy hating on it, it cannot actually have the metaphysical results of healing my gut. You have to work with the elements. It's like if you have an incredibly friendly person, right? But you're a jerk around them, are they going to be incredibly friendly? No, they'll be incredibly friendly, and then you're incredibly friendly back, and then it perpetuates. The same way we interact with humans, we interact with crystals and medicines. Even in a medicine ceremony, if you're incredibly resistant to the medicine, whatever the medicine is, you will not have necessarily a positive experience. So you want to be open to it. So that's part of it. Okay, now I have a question, because I want to make sure that before everyone leaves here tonight, don't worry, a lot of these cards are very short. I want to make sure that before everyone leaves here tonight, you have a solid understanding of crystals and why they were so important for the breastplate of that. Who worked in that? Which we learned about at? In Parshat? Wow, here it comes. Homie with the beard's got it going on. Alright, I want to make sure that you don't think, oh no, Nili's a hippie, that's it, like she's just teaching us hippie Torah. Where else do you see crystals in the modern world? Let's say perhaps in modern technology. Let's get examples. Where do we use crystals in the modern world?
Watches.
Watches? What do you mean watches? What do you mean? Does anyone here have a watch? What do you mean? What's that famous word you always see on the surface of Marcus, darling? Oh, sorry, I asked the British man to say quartz. That's just cruel. Quartz, right. Guys, the reason that your watches say quartz on them is because they are made of crystals. How about, let's see, anyone have a really nice TV here? No one has, like, we're in LA. You have a huge TV. What does it mean, LCD? Raise your hand if you've seen LCD on the TV. LCD, you've seen those words like high definition, LCD. Please raise your hand. Yeah. Thank you. Gosh, y'all brutal. What does LCD mean?
Liquid crystals.
Liquid crystal display. Whoa. Okay, I have another question. That's crazy! That's why your cell phones are so addicting! Because you're staring into crystallized light. They use crystal technology to redo your phone.
Wow.
That's why your eyes are so attracted to the light. It's either based on crystals or based on the scientific principles of crystals. It literally draws you in.
Oh, yeah.
For example, if I handed anyone this amethyst, nobody is going to look away. It draws you in. If I put this, maybe you could look away now because you're far, but if I hand this to you, Justin, is it going to pull you? Let's just try. Woohoo! 3 cheers for Justin!
Woo! Hip hip hooray.
Are you tempted to look at it? Okay. Now everyone pull out your phones. Just kidding. Don't you dare. Oh, sorry. The Uggs and the grass. The crystal works, right. The reason we're pulled in, the reason that guy's on his phone right now is because it's pulling him in. It's sucking you in. It is. It's crystal. Now I have a question. What are those things in the sky that move but... Stars, yeah, that's what it does. Satellites. Do you know how they make satellites?
Crystal.
They stick a giant quartz in the center of the satellite, and through that, like we said, the Choshen was a divine oracle. It is the quartz that then channels the energy. The only reason you have satellites is because you have crystals.
Wow.
There's a big freaking quartz in your satellite.
Wow.
Your TV, your phone.
That's crazy.
What about your radio? Does anyone know how the original radio was developed?
Crystals.
Believe it or not, we're learning Torah. I know it's crazy. You feel like you're at a chemistry class. No, we're learning Torah. It's going to get so deep so quick. Wait for it. Oh my God. Is that question? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling purple.
Yes. Round of applause. I love having kids here with us. It means so much to me. Yes, that is why quartz is one of the most popular and common stones, commonly used in many things. The original radio is a radio transmitter. What does that mean? It transmitted energy through the
Crystals.
through the crystals, through the quartz. What they did originally when they invented the radio is they took a quartz crystal and they took a metal wire and they conducted the energies, the frequencies in the air. That's what crystals do. Even mechanisms like the clap on, clap off. Everyone remembers that? Clap on, clap off. How did it go?
That was it. You got it.
Right, so even the clap-on it's based off of the waves, the frequencies of the air that are produced because of frequencies based on crystal technology. Wow. And if anyone wants to know the science of this, there is a name. It's called the piezoelectric effect. Try that. Piezoelectric effect. So you can actually look this up yourself. You'll be quite fascinated to know, again, this is actually all our Torah portion. So too, if crystals vibe like this, guess what else vibes like this? You got it. And when we use the crystals, what we're actually doing, though I use, thank you, Daniela, you're such a good photographer. Poor girl. What we do when we use these crystals is by putting them into our vibrational frequency energy field, what we're doing is we're letting all of those energies align. Kabbalistic Shiur, the chakras, the yin and the yang, the alkaline and the acid, all of these forces start to balance out. And that's actually how they work. Wow. In fact, the Ramchal talks about this in his book, YOU HASHEM. He talks about the fact that all illness, you're cold, corona cannot get you if your sfirot are imbalanced. All illness is a result of an imbalance of the Kabbalistic spherotic energies. Or if you want to go secular, all illness, all dis-ease is because your chakras are not aligned. You're out of alignment. That means your body is in a form of dis-ease.
Wow.
Now, another scientific fact, just so you know, anyone have a salt lamp in their house? Salt lamps work the same way. If you don't have a salt lamp, literally go out and get one tomorrow. I really highly recommend it. It changes the whole vibe of your space. The reason that this works and that crystals work is because of what's called negative ions. Okay, the less than pleasant things in our environment, like 5G towers and other technology, they throw all of this alignment out of whack. That's why when you're on your cell phone too long, you literally feel like your hand's gonna fry. It is. It's totally frying. It's misaligning all of your energies. It's actually positively ionizing you, which is not a good thing. You want to be negatively ionized, and the earth is negatively ionized. So when you take things like salt lamps from the earth or crystals, they are negatively ionized, and that's a good thing. That's why, for example, there's this practice. Has anyone heard of this very, very funny practice called grounding? Yeah. So this funny practice that all the hippies love, which is called grounding, is essentially all you're doing is taking off your shoes and putting your feet on the ground. And it heals you.
That's good.
And it affects you. And every morning when I pray, I take off my shoes so that my feet are on the earth. Because you want the negative ionization of planet Earth, of this 80% silicon ball, to realign your energies and negatively ionize you. But that's a positive. Yeah. Shout it out, bro. On Moses' yarzheit.
When Moses first went onto the mountain, the very first thing God said was, take off your shoes.
I'm sorry to all the people that helped that I didn't even think to think. And Shannon. Okay. So take off. Yeah. When Moshe approaches the burning bush, God says, take off your shoes. Like, get grounded. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting close. How are we doing over here?
So good. Keep going.
For 15 more minutes.
Yes.
Great.
More.
Not enough.
Do it.
Not enough. So just really quick, I'm just going to skip through a few things. The history of crystals is ancient. God bless you forever and ever. All cultures have a history of crystals. So give me some examples. What do you know? Who has a history of crystals? Native Americans. Yes. Beautiful. All the turquoise. That's on the breastplate. Who else?
Buddhism.
Idol worshippers.
Idol worshippers. Okay. There's some Let's Ladies and gentlemen, where did we get all the crystals from in the first place? They were washed up on the seashore with the Egyptians, right? Ancient Egyptians. What about the Chinese?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever been? It was in China. I think it's called Xi'an. It's in that place.
Terracotta warriors.
The terracotta warriors. So there is buried many, many crystals. The Chinese were totally into crystals. Has anyone? You also saw it?
Yeah.
It's fascinating, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Amazing. So they had crystals. The ancient Greeks, the Persians. Hello. The Persians had so many keristes. Where did they put them? Ow! What is that?
Facts on balls. Oh, the balls.
Ow! No, the Persians, they take the keristes, they put them all over the palace of Achashverosh. Achashverosh's palace was covered in crystals. You can read the Midrashim. The paths of the Achashverosh's palace were rubies and emeralds and diamonds. Everything was covered in crystals. The Guatemalans, oh, by the way, the Mayans. Everyone knows how the Mayans said the world was going to end in 2012?
Yeah.
You know why? No, they have this whole crazy ceremony that every thousand, I don't know, it's not crazy, God bless the Mayans. They have a ceremony every 1,000 years, they make a crystal skull. And this was the 13th crystal skull, and this was supposed to be the end where consciousness was infused into the quartz. It's true, we are in the age of Aquarius. The Mayans were onto something, but we can see culturally, and especially for us, because we're a very ancient people, and where were crystals in our tradition? I want to hear it loud and proud, sisters. Don't film me, I'm drinking Diet Coke.
Oh no.
Where are they? Where's my shame about pouring toxins into my body? You're missing something very, very important that we'll talk about more next week, guys. Oh, where I said that crystals were at the center of our tradition, and yes, the main man, the Cohen Gadol, he went into the Mishkan, and it was so cool, and he had crystals on his breastplate, but where was he going to the Mishkan? What was he going to do in the first place? I love the holy crickets. It means there's so much more. He was going to talk to God. What was he approaching?
The Shechina, the Kodesh Kedoshim.
He was approaching the Kodesh Kedoshim, and most people have no idea what you're talking about, so tell us what you're talking about. What is the Kodesh Kedoshim? The Holy of Holies. What the heck is the Holy of Holies? I thought we were talking about a tent. What kind of tent has a Holy of Holies? So the point is that in the center of the tent, there was a golden box with angels over it. And there was something very special. This is the absolute center of our tradition. What is in that golden box with angels over it? This is it. This is what was on the dome of the rock. The reason you go to the Kotel is because of this golden box.
10 Commandments.
In this box were the 10 Commandments. But I thought the 10 Commandments were like made out of stone and they show it in the movie.
No.
What did they not show you?
Crystal.
The stone, the Luchot, according to the Midrash, and the Zohar were made out of sapphire.
Wow.
The very center of our entire tradition for thousands of years is all about crystals.
Wow.
You see, this is not hippie material. This is literally the holiest thing that we ever got, the 10 Commandments. The center of our worship was freaking sapphire. You're missing another sapphire reference, by the way. Where was there another unbelievably important sapphire in Jewish history?
Moshe's staff.
Say it loud.
Moshe's staff.
Moshe's staff. Moshe did not have a wooden staff. Moshe had a blue, crystal, sapphire, diamond staff. Whoa. Okay, I know all the movies need some help. So we're going to do 3 more things tonight. I'm going to tell you about some insane divine providence I had this week. I burst into tears like 5 times over Shabbat, and I'm not a crier. Wow. I wish I was. I'm not. I'm going to tell you the insane ashkacha. We're going to quickly run through the gemstones and how they help the tribe fix it. We're going to make our own little choshen mishpah here, and then I'm going to wrap up. So I'm going to tell you the crazy ashkacha. This Shabbat, okay, usually what I do is I spend Shabbat alone. And the reason I do that is because I try to learn from morning till night. I just really love learning, and I try to learn morning till night. And if I go to a meal, I socialize for hours, and then I don't get to learn. Well, this Shabbat, I could not focus. I prayed. I tried to pick up my Torah book. I couldn't focus. Another Torah book. I couldn't focus. Another Torah book. I couldn't focus. I couldn't focus. I couldn't focus. It didn't make sense. I got good sleep. It's like, you know what, Nili? Don't fight it. Maybe try a secular book.
Oh.
I know. Haven't done that in like 10 years. Right. So I had brought some books with me from Israel because there was this, whatever. One time I went on a shopping spree of all the books I thought I should read about 2 years ago. And I bought myself all these 7 habits of highly successful people and these kind of, what are the other books like this? I bought them all.
Brene Brown.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got 3 Brene Brown ones. Haven't read any of them, but they're awesome.
Amazing.
Deepak Chopra.
Yeah, I got Deepak Chopra, Power of Now. I got them all, right? And I realized, oh, you know what? I can't focus on the Parsha. Let me pick up The Alchemist. I hear some knowing speech. Now let me remind you, and I plowed through this book in a few hours, bawling my eyes out, because I couldn't focus on the Torah of the Mishkan about the crystal breastplate. And then I open up The Alchemist, and the whole thing is based on the breastplate of the Cohen Gadol.
Wow.
The whole thing is about the Urim and the Tumim. Hold on 1 second. Let me tell you, so I immediately burst into tears because my sister gave me a book lately called Signs, and I've been looking for signs in my life. And The Alchemist is all about finding signs in your life. Hold on, it gets crazier because the main character opens up and his name is
Nili.
Salem. His name is Salem. My last name is Salem. And it's like the first wise person in this book to start talking about the Urim Tumim because I couldn't concentrate and I happened to bring this book from Israel. His name's Salem. So I start crying again. And I flip through a few pages and it starts talking about how one of the signs that the character was learning about was butterflies, and Shannon, who I just had a dream about the night before, made me a butterfly box.
Wow.
And one time when I was teaching in seminary, I asked all of my students, I said, what sign would you want to know that Mashiach was coming? And one of my spacey students, I love her dearly, she's like, it was her turn, so I called on her, she's like, I think it would be like the girls are coming up with wow, the sea would split into this, and all the amazing answers. One funny ditzy girl's like, I think the sign would be butterflies. And we're all like, what? And all of a sudden, Israel experienced a monarch butterfly migration, and the walls of the old city seminary were glass. And as she said that, with her back to the glass, about 500 butterflies flew behind her, and everyone started freaking out. So look at that. Butterflies are now a sign. And in The Alchemist, it talks about finding signs in your life. It starts talking about that. Okay, that's not enough, right? How about then you find your name of your ex-boyfriend a few pages later?
Wow.
I'm sorry. What? I had to ask a friend if I could say that in the Shiur, but I'm saying that in the Shiur. When your ex-boyfriend has a very weird last name and then you find it a few pages later, that's a little weird, right?
So
Crazy. Just a little.
And it went on, and it went on, and it went on. And it talks about the alchemist as the master healer. The alchemist is a sign about finding your personal purpose. The Chosh and Mishpat is crystals that lit up so you could realign your energies so that you could live your personal purpose.
Wow.
Do you understand how crazy that is?
Yeah. Wow.
Is that amazing? I mean, did you ever find your name in a book that you tried? I haven't read. I bought this 2 years ago.
Wow.
And it's all about this Parsha.
Picked it up now, yeah. Crazy.
It's all about this Parsha. So that's my divine providence, and now we're going to get to it. What time is it actually? So I lied. It's still going to be 15 minutes. I didn't try to lie, but I'm trying to be realistic. Are you guys doing good?
Yes.
I find this very interesting.
So interesting.
Yeah. So I'm just going to give you a quick. Oh, we do have an activity if you want to do it afterwards. All right, it's just a few things. Because the 99-cent store is awesome, and it was Christmas, and I was like, oh my God, they have bells. Those are going to be perfect in 2 months from now for the Cohen Gadol. Oh my God. So the Cohen Gadol walked around with 70 2 bells and pomegranates at the bottom of his clothes so that you always knew he was coming.
Wow.
Okay? So if anyone wants to take a bell home tonight to remind them of the Cohen Gadol, you can do that. Now, there was another thing that the Cohen wore which was really, really amazing. And what he wore was called a tzitz. And a tzitz was a golden breastplate on his forehead. Does anyone know what it said? It said, Kadosh Ladonai, holy to God. Now I have a question. Do you think there were mirrors in the temple?
No.
No mirrors in the temple. Who was he wearing this head plate for? Anybody who approached him. So if I am wearing, well I have them. If anyone wants to make yourself a head plate, I got some golden head plates that you could make, and I got the appropriate color ribbon if anyone wants to make themselves a head plate. But the Cohen Gadol wore a sign. Can you imagine if your rabbi wore a sign saying you're so holy? The Cohen Gadol walked around the Beit HaMikdash with a sign on his forehead saying you're so holy. You're so holy. Can you imagine? You went to shul, you went to synagogue, and the rabbi approaches you, he's like, you are so holy. Well, you would want to go back to that synagogue, right? Yeah. Anyways, you can make it. So that's the tzitz. We're going to skip a little bit. I always over-prepare. But I want to tell you the tzitz is made of gold. Does anyone know what gold is traditionally called in medicine world? It's called the master healer. What did I just say about the alchemist? The alchemist is talking about the person who turns things to gold is called the master healer.
Oh.
Gold in the mineral world is called the master healer. Okay? Gold has the ability to purify us spiritually. It helps us develop a total understanding. It helps us achieve communion with all that is. It helps us calm angry emotions. The Kohanim were known for which quality? Anger. It helps relieve the overburden of responsibilities. It helps unlock the third eye where he wore the very gold head plate. Creates a receptive energy and helps with devotion.
Wow.
So if you want any of these qualities, go get yourself some gold. And now we're going to move to the breastplate. Here we go.
I have a question.
I would love your question. And I need
A
to
drink.
find tape. Do you have Scotch tape? Thank you so much. Question.
Why are we not allowed to wear gold on Yom Kippur if it has like all those healing
You got to come back
qualities?
next week. That's exactly what we're going to talk about next week. But I'm not telling her. Shh, don't tell her. She has to come back next week. A question, yeah.
Why were Kohanim
Well, that's a great question. And on one foot, without thinking too hard, I'll say like this. Like I said, our greatest blessing is our greatest weakness. Our greatest weakness is our greatest strength. The Cohen, for example, Aaron, a Cohen, what was his number one quality? Not speech, although he was a speaker. That's a great answer. It was peace. And if your greatest strength is peace, what's going to be your greatest weakness? Anger or chaos. Exactly. So I believe, if I'm answering you on one foot without thinking about it too much, why Kohanim had a proclivity towards anger was probably because their greatest purpose in this world was to bring peace.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you too have a proclivity towards anger, it's probably because that's exactly where the Yetzer Hara is trying to attack you, so to shine your radiant peace light into the world, because then you'd actually win the battle and Mashiach will be here, and the Yetzer Hara's job is to stop that up. Cool. Okay, we're waiting for tape. In the meantime, let me just run and see if I have some. Sing us out.
Anyone want to say anything?
We love you.
Everyone say hi. It's on Facebook Live.
Does it save someone?
On her Facebook.
I go back and watch it all the time.
Of course. Something burning on the table.
Here we go. We're going to make the Cohen breastplate. Who wants to volunteer? Just need one volunteer. All right, here we go. What we're going to do, we're going to quickly go through this tribe of the stone of every tribe, and we're going to explain what was the spiritual meaning and why was it a fixing. So you're going to start by keeping this one here. The first one is the tribe of, anyone know? Reuben. And based on the color, it was a ruby or a carnelian.
Oh, and that's January also.
Okay, that's January. The ruby is known to help with healing of the womb, fertility, sexuality. Why would it be, if you know anything about Reuben, Reuven. Why would Reuven need to fix sexuality? What was his main mistake in the Bible?
Didn't he have he slept with his father? Yeah.
He's too sexy for his
Was it
family.
Bilhah or?
No, what Reuven did is that unfortunately when Rachel, wait, was it Rachel who dies?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Rachel dies, he wants his mom, Leah, to sleep with Yaakov. So he goes into Yaakov's tent and messes around with the bed so he's not going to sleep with the maid. That's not cool. You can't tell your dad who to be with at night. That's his choice. Right? So he messed up with sexuality. He has to fix sexuality. Next is Shimon. Shimon is topaz. Now I want to tell you, I really have studied this for maybe 50 hours. Every answer is different. Every stone is different depending on which commentary. What I did is I pulled from all of them that I could to try to find the best, but many of them have different interpretations. So for example, Shimon is the blue topaz, but it wasn't necessarily blue. It could have been a different color. Topaz is which month? November?
November.
We got November? No one else is
Scorpio, yeah.
I'm the lone Scorpio. Aren't you lucky? So the topaz is Shimon. And the topaz is a cooling propensity for anger. What is Shimon known for in the
Murdering
Bible?
Shem, yeah.
Shimon goes into a town at the age of 13 and murders everybody. And look at that. The fixing is a cooling propensity for anger. Shimon and Levi, but
Shimon's
Levi's a
idea.
little bit different. Get there right now. You're good, brother. Levi was either, okay, machloket, carbuncle or emerald, okay? Emerald, does anyone know what emerald has a healing property for? And you can come take a picture of this later if you want to remember for your Shabbat table. I mean, you'd have to print it, but whatever. Okay, so it really, emerald helps with your spiritual focus and your ability to teach. What was Levi's job? They were the teachers. Yeah. Guys, that's like wow.
Wow.
That's like really a lot of research to come to these
That was
conclusions to present them to you on a gold platter. That's
Wow.
yeah. Okay. So it helps you if you want to wear an emerald, it will help you enlighten your mind, it will help you gain wisdom. Wow.
Ooh.
But yeah, please ask a question. So each thing, yes. Well, so for example, it's kind of complicated. They also flew a flag in the desert that matched the stone, so every tribe was really associated with a color. Was a whole nother hour.
But
so,
it's like a sign.
yeah. It's not. There's a machloket. Like all the commentators like have a heyday on this class. But yes, they are definitely associated with colors, and colors is extremely important in Judaism. Okay, the next tribe was Yehuda. Yehuda was turquoise. Who got a turquoise tonight? You're so lucky! Who got a turquoise? So you want to know what you get to fix with this turquoise? It is the fixing of help you doing what is right.
Wow.
Now, why did that have to do with Yehuda?
He sold
What
his
sign
brother
is
to
that?
slavery.
He did, but even more so, the time when Yehuda gets kingship, he had to. Turquoise helps you own up. Does anyone know what Yehuda had to own up to?
Tamar.
Yeah, he impregnated his daughter-in-law. Yeah, he impregnated his daughter-in-law. Whoops, thought she was a prostitute. Whoops. And then it turns out that he says, "Oh, my daughter-in-law is pregnant. She's a cheating hoe. Let's burn her at the stake." So they send her out to burn her at the stake, and then Tamar very secretly reveals to Yehuda that's actually his kid. And he steps up in front of the entire community and says, "It's true, I was wrong, I did it. Save her, it was my fault." In that moment, Yehuda does his fixing, which is the fixing of turquoise. Owning up and doing what's right. Yeah.
What sign is that? Turquoise?
Well, yeah.
I got a Leo over here, but I don't know. Okay. Yisachar was, can anyone tell by the color? Sapphire. Now Yisachar, does anyone know what Yisachar did in the tribes? There was Yisachar and Zvulun. Does anyone know what Yisachar did? He learned. Yisachar was the learner. Zvulun were the seafarers, and the seafarers went to make money, so they made a deal with the tribe of Yisachar that says, you learn, right? Who here is like a rich guy in LA, you don't have time to study, so you pay a guy to do it in Israel? No, you never heard of that? People do that all the time. If you're well-to-do and you don't have time to learn, you pay someone to learn. So the sapphire, which is actually, like we said, the tribe of Yisachar, it's interesting because what it helps with is essentially mental clarity. Whoa. good mind for learning, you should wear a sapphire. Now we said Zvulun were the seafarers. How interesting that the stone that was Zvulun was either a diamond or a pearl. Why would it be interesting if the part of my back, the gemstone for Zvulun was a pearl? Where do you get pearls from?
The ocean.
What do we say Zvulun did?
Seafarer.
Yeah. And also diamonds is finances. And what did they do with all that? Why were they out at sea? To make
Money.
So diamonds. Yeah. Guys, this is really crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very informative.
This is insane. Thank you, Abby. I'm like tripping my brains out. I can never tell the people. I know it's getting late. Okay.
No, so unreal.
Dan, the tribe of Dan, was the fire opal. You guys know what an opal looks like? It like sort of changes. So fire opal is orangey, but it also changes colors in that bright way. Now, Dan, okay, the fire opal can help protect you against theft. Does anyone know what Dan's job in the desert was? So the tribe of Dan was the final tribe. They traveled in the back, and they had to return everything to the tribes.
Wow.
In other words, if you were in the tribe of Shimon and you're a mom and you drop your pacifier, as my teacher Leah says, then the tribe of Dan would pick it up and return it to you. They made sure that you had all of your belongings. Guys, it's really insane.
That's
it's
insane.
really insane. Okay, then we have Naphtali, which is, and all of these are accurate to the color, are accurate to the stone of the research. Okay?
Wait, how did you connect these? Like, how did you pick based on each one? Like you.
So the truth is, I spent hundreds of hours studying this.
But you knew what tribes, like
And
what
I
they
spent-
did first.
Well, I studied it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just, I really worked hard to find when you read enough sources of what each tribe did, and but I also just, you learn what the tribes do, and then it starts to come together. Okay, so the next one is tree agate, and that's Naphtali. Anyone seen agate? Agate is very, very popular. Has anyone seen agate?
Yeah.
Okay, so agate has the property of making things sweeter. Does anyone know what Naphtali actually means? Nefetli means make it sweet for me.
Wow.
Okay, amethyst. I believe amethyst is. Who's here got amethyst birthstone?
Woo woo!
Yes. What's your birthday?
I got that.
Oh,
It's not my first.
Merch.
not stone. I got it
Tonight.
Oh, you got an amethyst tonight. Who else got an amethyst tonight?
Ow!
Okay, so amethyst is a few things, okay? Mostly it's known for its ability to help in spirituality, but secondarily it actually gives strength to go into battle. And so you would figure that the tribe of God are the warriors, the amethyst. Okay, Asher with the yellowy green was either chrysolite or beryl, and it's actually the color of olive oils. Does anyone know what Asher is famous for? Olive oil.
Lighting the menorah.
The tribe of Asher prepared and shared the oil, the olive oil for the menorah. Now, thank you, Mom. Thanks, Mom. Only my mom would have a white marker so that I could draw on a black paper. Seriously. Thanks, Ma. Wow. So someone asked about black. Was that you? So this is Yosef, and it was onyx. Onyx is known as shoham. Okay, and again, later, please do come up and read through these and take a picture for yourself because there's way more information on here that I'm not sharing. Onyx has the ability to help you find grace in other people's eyes.
Wow.
Does anyone remember the story of Joseph? What was his whole life working to do? They all hated him. They hated him. He had to find grace in their eyes. And the onyx also has to do with the root chakra, which is connected to Yesod, which is sexuality. And Yosef's great fixing was the tikkun with Potiphar's wife that he didn't hook up with her. So there you go.
Wow.
Right? Unbelievable. Finally, the last tribe is Binyamin, which is jasper or jade. And the fixing is it helps one acquire a good reputation. Binyamin's was the beloved brother. It literally was his work in the world to bring everybody into peace together. So there you go with Binyamin and Jasper. So now for the wow. And now you could see what the breastplate of the Cohen must have looked like. It was covered with gold all around. It was held by gold, like a rope connecting it across the shoulders. It was this amazing thing. Then he had the golden breastplate. But here's the thing, and I told you that this would connect to your life. So now let's get there in these last few papers. Where do crystals come from? Where? center of the earth. Now tell me, if I walk to Rancho Park or Roxbury Park right now, am I going to find crystals?
No.
What would I have to do to find these amazing gems with the healing powers?
Dig.
Oh, so how interesting. We said that man is a universe and man parallels the universe. And here we are saying that the healing powers of the earth are actually within. And you have to dig them out. But they've always been there. So you're already understanding the point. The point of the Cohen Gadol wearing this was not because, ooh, cool, Hashem made some awesome stones with cool properties. The point of this entire thing was actually to show you what's in here. The healing is within all of us. The gems, your latent talents, that girl here with the voice who has yet to share it, the guy with the dance skills who is not busted out like Napoleon, what's his name? Yeah. Dynamite, right? The person with the ability to deliver who's still closed down their throat chakra. These talents are all within us. All of us have hidden talents, hidden ability to heal. We have to excavate it. We dig it out through our personal work, through our tefillah, through our learning Torah. That's what we're here to do tonight. We're not here to learn about the breastplate. We're here to learn about the gems that are already within you. I think that's pretty amazing. I don't know. What do you guys think? And what's amazing is that we're gearing up tonight in general in the Adar, like we said on Moshe Rabbeinu's yarzheit, we're gearing up for Purim. And the Kotzker Rebbe says that Purim is just digging deep to see what's true. So it's all there. We are basically trying to reveal what's inside of us. Like we said last week, Megillat Esther is revealing the hidden. That's what we're doing. We're trying to, the whole Torah is to help you reveal what's hidden inside of you so that like the alchemist, you can find your purpose in life and go forward closest to God. So you can approach God like we did in the Mishkan. Wow. And in Purim, what we're doing is we're wiping out doubt. We're wiping out Amalek, and that's the same thing that we're supposed to be doing here, is you're wiping out the doubt that you have for yourself. Everybody here has so many things inside them, so much magical power to heal, to help yourself, to improve your mental state, your psychological state, your physical state. It's within us and we can't doubt it. And so when we awaken to see the radiance in each one of us, the precious gems that are in each one of us, we realize it's not a joke that the human and the universe are compared. If the universe is literally a floating ball of intuitive, connective oracle power, then so are you. And as the tzitz read, Kadosh to Hashem, we're so holy to God. So I'll end on a story. I ended on it last week too, but it's worth it. So, and we're not going to do a review tonight, I think, because we went a little long, but we'll give a bracha. So Reb Shlomo Karlibach was very, very famous in his day, and he used to go hang out with all sorts of people. And one day he was in New York in the diamond dealers district. And has anyone heard the story? No. He's in the back. So it's short. So he's in the diamond dealers district, and he says to the guys, "Hey, you guys are big diamond dealers, right?" And they're like, "Us? We are the diamond dealers." And he's like, "Okay, so I want to ask you a question. If you saw like $1 million diamond in the rough, you'd know what it was." And they're like, "Of course we would. What do you mean? We're the diamond experts." So Shlomo says, "Yeah, I'm an expert too. I'm just an expert in a different kind of diamond." Because I asked him, "Why you hang out with such crazies? Why you hang out with the lowlives? Why you hang out with the poor people all the time?" He says, "Because I too am a diamond expert, and I could spot $1 million diamond in the rough anywhere I go. You just got to pick it up and dust it off a little bit." Whoa. So we are those diamonds. We are those gems. There are outsides. There are insides. The healing capacity for everything we need. Hashem makes the cure before the problem. And I hope, please God, tonight that we learned about Parshat Tetzaveh, and we learned about the Cohen Gadol's the clothes and the Choshen Mishpat, this crystal special breastplate. I hope that it inspires us to continue. Hashem, the Ribono Shel Olam, bless us to continue to look inside, to know we're so precious on the outside, on the inside. There's so much waiting for us to discover and to radiate. Just like that original Ouija board, we just got to tune into the Ribono Shel Olam and He'll light it all up for us, please God. So thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you, Facebook World. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Nili.
There's drums, maybe John's going to put some music.
I thought you were going to say a different drum.
Thank you guys for coming. Oh, and here's another thing. It's so funny to say it, but the truth is, we really pour a lot of finances into these classes to make them happen and to make them free. So if anyone is like a really successful lawyer and they just feel like, wow, I totally have tithes to give, feel free to contribute them to the Shiur so we could keep doing it week after week. Rivka is going to tell you all about that in later, or Daniela will tell you how to hook that up if anyone feels generous. And thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Woo!
Go team!